I had to try it 3 times. Okay, I'm in. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if something's working, it's got to be the internet up there. All right. Okay. Keep trying. I'll tell them you're going to keep trying. All right. Bye. Hello.
Good evening, George.
Good evening. No, me and Dave are both having a hard time logging in for some reason. Dave's still trying. Okay. Well, we can start without Dave. We got a quorum. All right. Hello. Who we got? Laura, you there?
I'm here. Hannah, we're all set, or Caitlin, whenever you guys are ready.
We're all set and ready to go.
Thank you.
All right, let me turn up my speaker a little bit. Okay. Hello. Here we are. There's somebody.
George, do you want to call the meeting to order and then do a roll call so you know who's here?
Yes, I will do that. Okay, this is the 8th of February. We're running a little about 5 minutes late, so 6:05. Town of Templeton Conservation Commission, Post Office Box 620 East Templeton, Mass. 01436. Oh, 38. I'm sorry. And I will call the meeting of the Concom to order. Okay. And we can go. I did not get a copy of the last minutes. So did you read them, or have you people read the meetings for December? Did you get a copy?
I read the meeting minutes. Did you read them?
Yes.
Yes, Amanda read them, and we lost.
Okay.
Davis.
Can I get a motion to have them accepted, please?
So moved.
The other Amanda, second?
Oh, second, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, we're all set there. Okay, we ready to start? We have Gavin Road gravel pit, that'll be number 1. It is 6:07 p.m. Templeton, Gavin Road gravel pit, Templeton, Mass. Request for determination, Gavin Road, Templeton, Mass. When I get the regular paper. Okay, this is the Town of Templeton Conservation Commission, 160 Patriots Road, Templeton, Mass. This is a legal notice, Templeton Conservation Commission, Gavin Road, map 4-03, parcel 14, request for determination of applicability. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wetlands Protection Act, that a public hearing will be held in request for the determination of applicability filed by Mesure Brand Corporation for Templeton LLC. Project located is Gavin Road, map 4-03, parcel 14. Description of project is in operation of an existing gravel pit. The hearing will be held on February 8, 2021 at 6 p.m. via a remote Zoom meeting through TCTV. Any person wishing to be heard concerning the above application should contact elwida@templetonmass.gov. Request for determination of applicability is available for public review electronically by request for the Development Services Office during regular office hours. George Andrews, Chairman, Templeton Conservation Commission. We're ready to open the meeting. Okay.
So George, we have Jeffrey Brem here and Karen, I'm going to butcher this and I'm so sorry, Hubaz Killy from the gravel pit, if you'd like them to talk.
Well, yeah, because this map they show is, I can just about see it. That's how bad it is. Been. And the thing is, they want to reopen an old gravel pit. Now, are these new owners or the original owners being represented by somebody else?
Mr. Chair, if you allow me, I'll give you a little history. Is that okay?
Yep.
Sure. So I presume you all have the plan in front of you too. I started working on this gravel pit way back when, about 20 plus years ago, for a guy named Robert M. Hicks, who was
That's what I
a
thought.
builder and developer. If you've been on the board for a long time, you had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Hicks himself. He hardly ever went to any board meetings at the time. I mean, never. He was a pretty good sized developer, but he went to Templeton. So for whatever reason, you should be honored that you got to see him 25 years ago. Since then, unfortunately, he passed away
Yes.
about 10 years ago, quite suddenly. And his estate is run by a lawyer in Boston named John McLaughlin and a accounting firm, R.S. Gladry. They are essentially the owners. John McLaughlin represents the estate. They changed the names a couple times during the probate process. So this property is now owned by Templeton LLC. They're the owners of the property, and I represent them. Karen is here. She represents Bond Gravel, and she is the leasee, and she'll be actually doing the work and being the operator on the pit when it reopens after we get permitted. I'm being a little presumptuous there. So last year, prior to the pandemic, we went to planning board and went to a couple of hearings and had it peer reviewed and did some work on the gravel pit to get a stormwater management permit, which is the first step in I guess a 3-step process. Then we had the pandemic. There were no meetings for all reasons of having dealing with everything that this last year that everybody dealt with. They did issue the stormwater permit, as Laurie will tell you, and the next step is to go to the selectmen to get the gravel removal permit itself. But there's an intervening step where the Board of Health and the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board are supposed to advise the selectmen on whether they have a problem with it or not. And as I was talking to Laurie, the best way to do that with the Conservation Commission is this process, the RDA process. That gives you, as I explained to Mr. McLaughlin, that gives you the power to go on the property. It also records the order at the Registry of Deeds, and which allows you again to make sure and monitor the situation during the gravel operations. So if I could refer you to the plan, the Gavin Road part of it comes in from the south, kind of in the middle of the site, and everything to the left of the road has either been graveled in the past many years ago, or is not being proposed to be graveled at all, and that's where the wetlands are. So it's a pretty simple process. We're doing everything to the right, which would be, I guess, the southwesterly portion of the property. There's about 90 acres there, and we show
Here I am.
it's a bunch of what looks like bubbles, colored bubbles, and that's basically the phasing of how the pit would be explored over many years. In that area, there are no wetlands. It goes up and down, undulating. I know that I personally went to the site about 5 or 6 years ago, and I went to look at all those depressions to make sure there was no water standing or any kind of evidence of wetlands. And there are none. It's a gravel, so it just drains out. But the proposed project is going to, each phase will have its own storm drainage system to make sure that it goes into the ground and not into any adjacent properties or even the wetlands. So each phase will have its own little infiltration system that's shown on the plan. And as they go through, and when it's all done, it'll all get drained south and north in a nice flat area. It'll become it'll become a meadow at that point. It'll be part of the process with the planning board was to create a reclamation plan that's on file as well. So it'll all be reclaimed in phases so that at no point in time will 5 acres be disturbed at once. So I'm sorry, the whole property is a 95-acre property. We're working on about a little over 40 acres of it to the southwest. That's it. It's we figured the RDA process was the best way to get your formal approval, but ultimately what we're hoping for is a recommendation to the selectmen that you don't have any opposition.
I have one question I'd like to ask.
Of course.
Whereas it has been a number of years since anybody's been out there, is there any possible way for you to go out there and mark the 200-foot buffer zone from the wetland area?
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, we haven't been out there because this hit us and we have the snow, so we can't go out there anyway.
Yeah, we could do that if you don't mind. Would rather do it during construction with all the snow and everything.
Yeah,
If it
no.
would a condition of approval that prior to the start of the operation, that would be fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I just would like to have it marked so that we know exactly what we're looking at in the spring when we get a chance to go out there. When you go out there and mark it, and let us know when it's done.
You got it.
That's
That's fine,
okay.
Mr. Chair. Yep, no problem.
Because we
And-
know it should have been reclaimed a long time ago. It was never reclaimed. They have snowmobilers and they have, you know, the 4 wheels on them have been out there all the time. And I don't know if anybody's going to be able to do anything about that or try to stop having them on private property.
Well, it's a good point, and it's sort of a side benefit in that it's basically vacant land with nobody, Furman Boston, the lawyer that's running the show. So there's been no operation out there. It's primed to be abused, so to speak. But now when Karen and her crew gets out there, there'll be machinery, there'll be gates, there'll be security, and you'll have all those things that you really should have anyway in a property like this.
Okay, that's one thing I'd like to see. Like I said, before you get, you can wait till spring till we can get in there and get it set up. I'd appreciate it.
Not a problem at all.
Okay, Amanda?
I do have one question. What is the limit of work from the property line, specifically the one closest to that wetland complex?
The wetland complex to the northeast, so to speak.
Hold on, Gavin Road.
They've got to stay 200 feet away from the wetland.
To the east of it.
Yeah, it's well over 200. Oh, up at the top, you're talking. Yeah, so basically what happens is there's a ridge line that forms, and there's a little detail in the plan. We're cutting into the ridge, so all the flow, everything will be going to the north, a little tiny bit to the west, and that's the final direction of all the water, all the
Thank you. Okay.
And that was one of the requirements that planning board made us do. By the way, the latest planning changes from a previous version. They wanted to make sure that all the flow went towards the north.
Okay. Anybody else? Karen?
Amanda doesn't have any questions, so I motion to give a negative determination for the RDA, which means the project is able to go forward without additional paperwork from us.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. So it is approved, 3-0. Yeah. Laurie, I did not receive a signature page on my copy of the NOI.
I actually have the signature page and I had sent it in a later email because
Okay.
Jeff had sent it separately.
Okay, that's what I wanted to, so I can't sign it till probably stop by tomorrow, well, within the next couple of days, I'll stop by and sign it.
Okay.
Now, did you take into consideration what I said about signatures a couple of weeks ago? About,
That's really up to you and your board, how you want to handle that.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with it and would never do anything, but the problem is when you take a vote, like Dave is not here, how do we handle something like that?
that's the thing, yeah, okay. Oh, it was just a question.
Okay.
You are welcome to sign for me in proxy if necessary, and I can give you approval per item.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Okay,
Just email
Yeah,
me. Yep.
No problem. Okay, that's all. Okay,
So thank
anything?
you, Jeffrey and Karen. We do have one item of old business from last meeting. I
Thank
do
you very
not want to
much.
skip.
Thank you for your
Um,
time.
Yep,
Thank
thank
Lori,
you.
where do we stand with the Turner Lane site walk discussion?
So when you had your last meeting, you had talked about a couple different things. And if I recall correctly, and I'm sorry, I don't have minutes right in front of me. Did you ask them for an NOI?
I think we said we were going to wait to talk about it with this meeting so that we could get George's opinion.
Oh, yeah, you tabled it. And
Yeah.
there was discussion prior to the fact that they're not anywhere near the wetlands with their buildings. They're more than 200 feet away. And I didn't know, you had talked about they really didn't need anything done
Right.
because of that, but that's you
But we
guys.
want George's opinion. We didn't want to make a
Well,
decision.
I listened to the planning board and I listened to what they said, and they approved it all. And as far as I'm concerned, that is fine, because they're not going to be using the back part of it anyhow. It's only 2 areas that they had to use, and none of it's near the wetlands. So I think it's an okay go on that.
Okay. Cool.
And Amanda, while I got you here,
Yes.
226 South Road. Did you do anything with that last week?
I have not spoken to them yet, no.
No. Okay, what I did, well, in my opinion, is that he has to be told he has to wait till spring before we can do anything.
Okay.
So when you do talk to him, if you would, that has
I
to be
will.
done. Because I recall in the fall, he had sent over a weekend a notice in about putting a pool up, and we never heard any more about it. So
Okay.
I don't know where he stands or you stand. Okay. All right, Laura, you got anything else?
Do you have anything else?
No.
Can I get somebody to make a motion to end the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those, I agree. The meeting is now closed at 6:22.